Welcome to Green Building Matters, the original and most popular podcast focused on the green building movement. Your host is Charlie Cicchetti, one of the most credentialed experts in the green building industry and one of the few to be honored as a lead fellow. Each week, Charlie welcomes a green building professional from around the globe to share their war stories, career advice, and unique insight into how sustainability is shaping the built environment. So settle in, grab a fresh cup of coffee, and get ready to find out why green building matters.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to a special episode of the Green Building Matters podcast. While we normally interview a green building professional every single week somewhere in the world, this week I wanted to get on here and talk about the WELL AP professional credential exam, some changes that are coming. And that's what this episode is going to be about. I'm your host, Charlie Cicchetti. I'm a WELL AP. I'm WELL faculty. My businesses, we really are focused on not just the green building movement, but the healthy building movement. I'm sure that's affected a lot of you before and, of course, during the pandemic. Is this a healthy building or not? On one hand, and on the other hand, how do I help everyone get back to our buildings with confidence coming out of the pandemic? Maybe you've been applying some of the pandemic response programs like WELL HSR or FitWell Viral Response Module. So with that being said, let's talk about the WELL AP exam. This exam we've had out there for a number of years in WELL version 1, but a lot of our projects have been using WELL version 2, right? LEAD and WELL, these programs that we get to work with, these tools, these rating systems, they go through updates. They have to raise the bar. They have to tweak some of the line items, some of the credits on the LEAD side, and some of the features here on the WELL side, just to make sure that they are challenging enough, but projects are actually going to do these. And so that's another reason why we have these iterations, these updates to LEAD and WELL. But as the main programs update, that means they have to update the exams that we all study for, of course. So I passed the WELL version 1 WELL AP exam several years ago. And this public service announcement, we want to highlight to everyone that in September here in 2021, we are going to see an update from IWBI and GBCI. Remember, the International Well Building Institute is who's behind the WELL movement, and they will provide the updated information to GBCI, who works closely to write and rewrite exams and then administer those exams through Prometric. So those are your entities, just one more time. The IWBI, of course, the authority behind the WELL building standard, working closely with GBCI, who certifies our projects, but also administers our credential exams, keeps up that credential maintenance, your CE hours. And then Prometric is the third-party testing center, which if you've been thinking of taking your WELL AP, but with the pandemic, you didn't want to go into a testing center. Good news, you can take the exam virtually, or you can come into the testing center. So that is one change that happened in 2020. These LEAD and WELL exams you can take virtually. It's pretty strict. You have to have a webcam and look all around your desk, under your desk, make sure nothing's written down. There's a proctor that's watching you take the exam, but you can take it virtually. I've had some colleagues to do that, and we've had a lot of customers use that option, especially internationally, before the Prometric testing centers had opened back up. Or you can still go into the Prometric testing center in the city. Hopefully they have one where you're at. Okay, so that's one takeaway from our public service announcement today is you can take these exams virtually if that is something that you would prefer to do. Next, September 1st, 2021, the WELL AP exam will update to WELL version 2. Again, we've had a gap. We've had to be teaching WELL version 1 for a long time, even while WELL version 2 projects have become the main version to sign up your projects for. So I'm happy to see that gap now closed. We will be teaching WELL version 2, and your projects will be working off of WELL version 2. And so that's a good place to be. Now, if some of you may be listening to this are like, oh man, I've been studying for the WELL exam, I didn't know this. Look, if you want to go ahead and take your WELL AP here in July or August 2021, stay the course, keep doing that, and let's go ahead and get your WELL AP credential while it's a 100-question multiple choice exam. If you haven't really started yet, you've been meaning to take a wellness credential, either the WELL AP or the FitWell Ambassador. That's another one to look into. The FitWell Ambassador is an online course, open book, 50 questions. We actually have some practice questions for it at gbes.com. That's a credential. You may even want to go get that, knock it out. Some of your projects may want to align with FitWell, but the WELL AP is the closed book professional credential exam that's very recognized in industry right now. It's a great add-on if you have a lead green associate or a lead AP of another specialty, because on the lead side, you're showing your employer, you're showing your clients that you have green buildings covered. And on the WELL side, of course, you have healthy buildings covered. So I highly recommend a lead credential and follow it up with a WELL AP, very marketable in this green and now healthy building movement. So first takeaway, you can take the exam virtual or at a Prometric. Next, September 1st, 2021, that's when the WELL AP exam will have been updated to version 2. They've been rewriting the questions this year. Good news, our education team at Green Building Education Services, gbes.com, we've been doing this a long time. We've been helping professionals all over the world actually since October 2007. That's when we made the first lead AP practice tests and flashcards and courses. And so we really know what it takes to stay aligned with these GBCI exam changes and how to pass the test. It's something we're really good at. On one hand is, what do you need to know to pass this exam, right? And boost your career. And on the other hand, don't forget, we do a tremendous amount of continuing education. So to pass this exam, the WELL AP, now version 2, again, if you're listening to this, you were thinking of taking the exam soon, go ahead and start into some reading material. But starting September 1st, 2021 onward, it will be WELL AP version 2. It'll align with the WELL version 2 rating system. We're going to put some links in the podcast show notes. We've got a really good blog on how to pass the WELL AP exam, some study tips there. We'll be updating that right when the new exam launches. We at GBS, our education team, have been writing WELL version 2 practice tests, and we really want to focus your studies on certain material to help save you time and help show you what's it going to take, what do you need to memorize to pass this new WELL AP exam. So we've been working on that. We'll be launching those in August 2021. We've got a resource here from IWBI. We're going to put this in the podcast show note link. This is, how to get to know the new WELL AP exam. The current one is 100 questions. They throw out 15 beta questions, and then they score the rest. The new exam, and you had 2 hours to do that. The new exam, they're going to give you 2.5 hours, and the new WELL AP version 2 exam will actually have 115 questions, while the beta period has even more than that. The folks at IWBI and GBCI are going to cut it down to 115 questions instead of what we had before, which was 100 questions. Now, 15 questions will still be thrown out, but we don't know which ones those will be. So it is going to be a little bit longer exam. We're going to see if that means it's more difficult. But what's happening is they're trying to get you more project-specific questions, right? We all want to become a WELL project manager here. And so there's actually going to be an embedded amount of content, some PDFs on your computer screen that you'll click, you'll reference. So there may be some questions where you need to go back to a document or two that they actually give you. That's new. Now, trust me, this is still a closed book exam. You got to do a lot of studying here. Some of you learn best by reading. Read the WELL version 2 building standard. Luckily, they give us that one for free on wellcertified.com, or better yet, just go to gbes.com/free-resources. And that's where we have our WELL AP material, even some of our free material that we link over to. That way you're studying off of the right version of these documents that come from the folks behind the WELL movement. So again, takeaway number 3 here would be the exam is going to be a little longer, starting September 1st onward. 125 questions, 2.5 hours. Maybe it doesn't take you quite that long, but this is a wordy exam. It could take you most of that time. That's okay. And they're going to have some new embedded content. Now, how are they stretching it to 125 questions? Well, one thing that's happened from WELL version 1 to WELL version 2 is, some of our concepts, our categories like air, water, nourishment, light, thermal comfort. No, that one's new. Okay. So air, water, nourishment, light. As we get through, there are some concepts and categories that have stayed the same, maybe moved around some features and points within those. But then they started breaking out some other ones, okay, like materials now, sound, thermal comfort. And so we're starting to see more specific categories within the WELL version 2 building standard, okay? So those new categories that now total 11, if we add a synergies category, would be air, water, nourishment, light, movement, thermal comfort, sound, materials, mind, community. And again, while there might be a couple questions about innovation points on our exams, we throw in a category, and we do this on our practice tests for synergies, okay? So we've got 11 total categories, if you will, and they pull some questions from each of those. And we want to make sure we're, focused on the fact that there's 3 different types of questions. Some are very rapid recall questions. Some are more, analysis questions. We can even get into application questions. So again, there's 3 types of questions: recall, application, and analysis. The analysis ones are typically more wordy. They might have a paragraph or a table, or in this case, on the new WELL AP, we'll reference some of the material they're going to give us off to the side. And we have to kind of problem solve. We have to be that kind of WELL project manager, if you will. Okay. So recall, application, and analysis questions. Look, I've been doing this a long time. These changes happen. While this one maybe is a larger exam update, because every year the folks behind the LEAD and WELL exams reserve the right to slightly tweak the exams. The LEAD exams this year, we've been told with our partners there at the authority, will not have changes or major changes coming out of COVID. But the WELL exam was overdue for an update. They were going to update it last summer, 2020. They've waited, of course, and now it's going to update here. So this one is a more, quote, major update. But if you've been studying WELL or you've been working on WELL projects, that material, a lot of it's going to remain. It's not like they started from scratch, okay? They've just moved some features around, adjusted the points, adjusted the preconditions, the things we have to do in order to go for a WELL building certification. So if you've already been kind of reading up on it, you're a little familiar with WELL, you have a head start, okay? WELL version 2, though, if you're going to take this exam after September 1st, 2021. That is the version you need to study off of. We've got you covered here at gbes.com. Make sure, again, you check out our blog about how to pass the WELL AP exam, our free resources page, and no matter what, read through the WELL Building Standard PDF and take lots and lots of our practice tests. They're going to be just like the real exam. We'll continue to fine-tune those. And then finally, to get all that additional study material for courses and flashcards and more, you're probably just going to want to jump into our unlimited subscription. We call that GBES Unlimited, because once you pass this exam, you have to keep up your continuing education. And we do have WELL-specific continuing education. Some of you listening probably have a LEAD credential and a WELL credential. If you're one of our annual subscribers to GBS Unlimited, you get all of that. It's included, no additional cost. It just puts your green building and now healthy building career on autopilot. So, in summary, the WELL AP exam is updating September 1st, 2021. We here at GBES, our education company, have you covered. If you've been reading up on it, keep reading up on this material. But let's just make sure you're studying off of the accurate, the most updated WELL version 2 study tools and our practice tests. And let's go get that additional professional credential. Good luck. I just want to say thank you to our loyal listeners. We actually are celebrating over 1 year here on the Green Building Matters podcast. Me and the entire team were stoked and just so glad you continue to listen every Wednesday morning to a new interview with a green building professional here in this industry, or just some pro tips that we want to make sure that you are getting straight from us, straight to you. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Green Building Matters podcast. At gbes.com, our mission is to advance the green building movement through best-in-class education and encouragement. Remember, you can go to gbes.com/podcast for any notes and links that we mentioned in today's episode. And you can actually see the other episodes that have already been recorded with our amazing guests. Please tell your friends about this podcast. Tell your colleagues. And if you really enjoyed it, leave a positive review on iTunes. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on next week's episode.